scheduled meeting of the Maumelle Planning Commission to order for this June 27, 2024. We have any announcements from staff?
The only thing from staff would be, I think we failed to mention at the previous meeting, Express Edition lots 1 and 2 was filed. That is the Take 5 Oil development. And then today we had civil plan approval for 3 subdivisions that'll be moving forward with construction in the near future.
And I have a couple of things. Pertaining to the Take 5, you probably noticed the trees coming down at the corner of the boulevard and Crystal Hill. That is Take 5, so they've started construction on that. And then after Planning Commission, I encourage all the planning commissioners to go by the community center. They are doing from 5:30 to 7:30 in compliance with the environmental requirements of RDOT, showing the Club Manor plans to the community and getting feedback. So please feel free to go by there, take a look at it, and give any input to the engineers as well as the staff there.
Very good. Very good. First order of business for this evening is the approval of minutes for the May 23, 2024 meeting. There before you was included in your packet. Do we have any comments, additions, changes? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
Hearing a first and a second, we'll now act on the approval of the minutes of the May 23, 2024 meeting. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. The motion carries and the minutes are approved. The next item we have this evening is a public comments on non-agenda items. I have no public comment cards this evening, so we will open the public hearing. And the next item of business is under old business for the STP 24-3, the Gateway Park site plan.
So, Mr. Chair, staff is going to be requesting deferral on items 1 through 3 on this. I will need an action for that deferral to the next Planning Commission meeting in July. The reason being, we did get updates this week from Crafton & Toll on the turnaround that's required by the fire department, but I want to get it based on questions that I've received. I want to get some additional information on the crushed granite. The decomposed granite that was the alternative for the variance. I want to get you more information on that. And then just wanted to clarify a couple of things. We need to clean up our report. The criteria on the approval of that variance is out of section 94, not section 70. That may have been misconstrued on the staff report. So we'll get that cleaned up and get that to you so you know exactly the criteria by which you make your decision on that. And then I want to get more information engaging the church on any potential shared parking, if that's a possibility. Otherwise, I would like to hear any more comments from the Planning Commission if there's anything else you want us to clarify before the next meeting when it comes to the Gateway Park. That way we can make sure that we run it through and get that taken care of. Otherwise, staff recommends deferral.
Thank you. Any questions regarding that or clarifications that you'd like to see?
That's really the only thing that, as just a follow-up, we had it in our subcommittee. I looked at the ordinance on the, I guess it's transient merchants. They had food trucks in there, and they had to have a self-contained water and waste thing. So we talked about the grease and that type of thing in subcommittee. I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. That was in the ordinance. I think it's section 50. Yeah.
And just for that, to my understanding, the intent is to be able to provide electrical hookups to minimize noise that would be generated from generators. Otherwise, the self-contained water and any sewer and even grease would have to be contained by that. So there's no facilities at this. It's going to be minimal facilities, mainly to reduce noise on the electrical side. That's to my understanding at this point.
So there's no intent on constructing any type of public bathrooms or anything of that?
Well, there is a bathroom, and you'll notice on the site plan, just to the south, yep, Jason's pointing to it, that's where the bathrooms are already gonna be.
Thank you.
And Scott, at the subcommittee meeting, there was reference to the crushed granite, but it wasn't called crushed granite, that a variance had been given in the past for a building over by the post office. What was that material that was approved? Or was the material approved at the planning commission back in time? Or was it just a variance was given and then they worked with city engineers to the material?
Now, if I recall, it was a variance approved by the planning commission for the additional parking behind the building, which was hidden. And I believe the intent was given at the planning commission for it to be an SB2 type material. It wasn't
It wasn't paved.
It wasn't paved, no.
Variance was to waive the requirement for the asphalt concrete surface for the paving in the back of the facility.
Okay.
That was a
And
variance, it wasn't on the paving material.
And the variance would have, in addition, I guess, negated the curbing? I mean, my understanding at Gateway is the material, but part of the benefit of that material is that there was still gonna be curbs all around the parking lot to contain all that.
Well, and that's one of the things I want to get clarification on is that where is that containment going to be? Because there are areas where, like on the western side where you have all the parking, I don't see any indication of curbs or humps. So, you know, I would like to see some detail as whether it needs to be a 1-inch lip for containment above the finished grade or whatever that is, the material. So I want to get a little bit more clarification.
So those aren't curbs.
Well, there's curbs on the outer perimeter, but as far as the connection to the concrete, if you do that flush, then you're just gonna keep pushing stuff out. So making sure that there's indications on the site plan, when they get into the building of this, how that needs to be finished out.
Okay.
So is it your intent, for staff to request a contingency with the code amendment on the variance? Or you're asking for the variance, or is the code amendment gonna be developed far enough along to have a better understanding of this temporary surface you seek?
The code amendment will not be developed along. So staff is gonna be requesting withdrawal of the code amendment because it's likely not gonna be ready by next month. And I just don't wanna keep kicking that can down the road. I wanna get you something, that's at least my recommendation on that. So it's gonna be a variance to the code.
Okay. And I'd had some exchange with Scott on this and asking the city engineer for some input as well too, is just to have and I wanna go ahead and share with the commissioners too, just in transparency, is that we need to have a definition of what this material actually is. I'm not comfortable with decomposed granite, to be honest with you, or anything of that nature. There's very definitive, open graded base courses, cement stabilized base courses, asphalt stabilized base courses that would suffice. It seems like we're going away from that, which is fine if that's what's desired and everybody's on the same page. But if it is just class 7, which in itself is be able to be drained, but they're going, I'm not for sure of the direction here from why we're going in the direction of the granite paving altogether. But at any rate, I guess we'll see where that develops over the next 30 days and let them come back with what they decide or what the request specifically is.
And the intent will be to have Crafton and Toll here to answer any questions, but also to have additional material to the commission so that you have more specific knowledge of what that's going to be.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir, Counselor.
I just thought, would it be possible if Crafton and Toll is coming in, for them to have samples of what the material would be? That might help visualize it a little better. For somebody not in construction or development.
Sure. I can check into that.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna come out of Grand Mountain Quarries, probably south of Little Rock would be my guess, and they do have something in mind. You know, anyway, I've shared that I think there should be a stabilized base of some sort, but it looks like they're going in a little bit different direction. And I've also asked for input from our public works director, is that when you get parking, it's just gonna it'll run everywhere. So, a couple of questions that I asked Scott, and I'm sure he'll do his diligence and follow up. Or if it's more of an architectural direction that's desired, so.
I think it's both.
I do too, and I just, you know, this stuff, I don't, you know, the trouble is you get it, they make a granite run, and I could, you know, stand on a stump here and tell you what the benefits, but into defense, I told Scott, I said, I'll stay in my planning commission lane, and we'll let Crafton Toll stay in their engineer lane, and we'll let them present it. And we'll
Well,
discuss it, so.
And the benefit being, the municipality, we can always pave it if it feels like it's just not, too much maintenance, or, you know, we have that ability to
Yep.
take care of
Yeah,
that.
I'm aware. Okay, any other discussion? The chair will entertain a motion of deferral. You're asking specifically for next month, is that right, Scott?
Yes, sir. And would that need to be to the specific day?
Yes, please. I think it's the 25th.
I believe it is the
July
25th.
25th.
Very good. So in the motion, just whomever makes it, make sure it's a specific day. Regular scheduled meeting of the July 25th.
I'll make a motion that that item is deferred to the July 25th hearing.
Second.
Second.
Okay, hearing first and second, we'll now act on the deferral of first item in old business SCP 24-3 for the Gateway Park site plan. All those in favor of the deferral signify by saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. The motion is carried and is deferred to the regular scheduled meeting of July 25th. We'll go into new business, which is also, we're going to have a deferral of this as well too. CAU, yes?
Actually, Mr. Chair, and I apologize for that, and I probably should have asked for this before we even opened the public hearing, but I'm withdrawing this from the agenda, so it doesn't need to be an actionable item.
Very good. So no action is required. The item is deferred until further notice and is represented to staff at the time, or represented to the committee at the commission at the time. So we will close the public hearing and move to City Council Liaison Report. The first report of June 3 is Vice Chair Gill.
Yes, council had 3 items, which were ordinance 1120, 1121, and 1122, which were all passed. 2 of them had to do with the land use plan map, and then the final was the zoning map being amended. The only other items really were a couple items that came up or have been in discussion, I guess mostly at subcommittee meetings, particularly in Maumelle Valley. Mr. Hagan from Public Works came and presented to the council that they had gone physically and looked at, I think he said 100 culvert drains in the midst of and immediately following a heavy rain that had just occurred before that council meeting. And he reported that all of the pipes that they checked were working as designed correctly. So, in addition, he said there were 3 slip line jobs where they're rehabbing the old pipes. I think we'd heard that as well. So he was reporting to them that those were in process. And then, as a separate item, he reported that the work at the roundabout at White Oak the construction has started. So, that was June 3rd.
Thank you. June 17th is Commissioner Jones.
June 17th, there was 4 items that were interest to the planning commission, 2 of them indirectly, 2 of them directly. The first one, the city went into an economic development contract with the Maumelle Chamber. Part of that is twice a year, she's going to go before the city council and talk about new business and things of that nature. The ordinance 1129, the dedication of streets for the Maumelle Valley Estates, we approved, first reading, minimal discussion. The second one was ordinance 1130, the vacation of the lot by CCA on New Orleans and the Boulevard, minimal discussion. The last one, part of the order of business, new building permits are put in the city council packet each month. There are 6 homes, 3 of them in the reserve, 1 in Country Club of Arkansas, 1 in Natural Trail Estates, and 1 in DeVoe Bend. Taking out the 600 grand DeVoe Bend house, the average price was $340,000. That's all I have.
How are you tracking on residential permit applications this year as compared to others, Scott?
We're about right in line. It's funny, the year before, Ross Coleman was the majority builder, which took in Cypress Bend. DR Horton is now leading the way this year. So without those developments, our numbers would be down quite a bit.
Okay, thank you. Next month, city council liaison reports is up for, I have July 1, July 15th is Commissioner Ray. Any other announcements or anything, discussion this evening?
But you had July 1st?
I do.
Good for you. I thought I did, actually. I don't know why.
Well, it's just me there. I'll take that as gospel unless otherwise told.
All right. Happy day.
Yeah, I'm working on a conflict on the 25th, Scott. I've got a conference that I'm working around, so at any rate, I'll see and I'll let the commission know. I'd like to be here for that item, so it's in Hot Springs, so I may drive back. You know, it's not too bad to drive back and forth, so I'm trying to work through that. I think there's an awards banquet that night. I've got to look at the agenda. Not that I'm expecting one. See no further action, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Motion.
moved.
Have
So
a
moved.
motion second. All those in favor of adjournment say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those no. Motion carries. We are adjourned.